Welcome back to SevereMMA. My name's Andy Stevenson, and I'm joined by the main event of PFL Dublin coming up on the 8th of December in Dublin's 3Arena. I was going to say Nathan Kelly. I don't know what to call you these days because there's only two Nathan Kellys.
Yeah, there's only two Nate and Kellys. Yeah, just call me Nate, and I suppose I'll give Nate the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him the title.
Well, you're the main Nathan Kelly, at least this week, anyway.
Yeah, I'm the big Nathan. We'll say big Nathan, but yeah, no, I've been having a good bit of crack with the PFL with all the two Nate Kelly stuff. We done some good filming and had some fun with the All-Star Mr. and Mrs. paddles and stuff like that, and Spider-Man memes and all that jazz. So yeah, it's a bit of crack, but on the night there's gonna be one Nathan and one Nate, and that's the way we're gonna look at it. So I'll give Nate the Nate title for that night. All right. So but main event Nathan is gonna be in full force there on Friday night. Yeah.
100%. I'm delighted for you that you've gotten this opportunity. You last fought in Dublin, I think it was February last year, February 2022, with the Bellator one against Scott Pedersen.
Yeah.
And you were the second fight on the card.
Yeah.
There probably wasn't that many people in the crowd at the time. Fast forward a little over 18 months later, and your main event in the 3Arena show. Does that feel surreal, or how do you react to something like that?
Yeah, it is a little bit surreal because although I visioned this happening, I didn't envision it happening so fast. But you know, I've spoken to people about this, and I was just kind of saying since then, you know, I've been just so busy and just whacking out the fights that time caught up with me, and I didn't even realize that in some ways I felt like this opportunity came really fast, but if you consider the amount of work I've put in and the wins and all that goes into it, I feel like it's actually fell at the right time, because I feel like this is a really good position for me to be in. For example, I've been given the main event slot. The pressure's on me. I'm the one who's supposed to win, and blah. All that entails that spotlight, that headline and slot, and the pressure that comes with it. So I feel like I'm at the right stage in my career now, where if I win this one, or when I win this one, I should say, I'll have a nice jump start into another path or another opportunity or so whatever it is. And I feel like I'm really in the flow of my fighting career now as a professional mixed martial artist, and this is going to be my 8th fight, just a little over 2 years, and I really feel like I'm in the full swing of it. So I couldn't, even though I felt like this had just happened out of the blue and it's all catching up really fast, I really do feel like it's at the perfect time for me to start catapulting in the right direction going forward now, you know what I mean?
To springboard off this almost, essentially.
Yeah, I literally feel like it's going to be the icing on the cake for my year, and it's going to just swing me into 2024 with, just fire behind me, and yeah, although it is surreal, I somewhat feel I deserve it, you know what I mean? And I'm proud of myself to get it, and you can best believe, because they gave me the opportunity on the night, that I'm gonna perform to the best of my ability, bring a big crowd, have a noisy fan base, and really make it a special night, you know what I mean?
100%. And when they initially announced the card, obviously John Mitchell was listed at the top of the bill. Yeah. They switched it up and put you in the main event. What was your reaction? Where were you when you got the call and when you found out that you were the main event?
So yeah, I seen John was the headline and I was the co-main, and I was like, grand, that's a grand placement on the card. I thought I'd be a bit lower because now in the quarterfinals, I thought that they would have been one of the main events, which John was. And then I was driving home from here one of the nights then, and my sister sent me a screenshot of the PFL's post saying I was the main event. And when I went to click onto it, I seen it was taken down. So I was like, that must have been just a mistake or whatever it was. And then, I don't know whether it was the same night or the next morning, I would check the page, and there I was, you know what I mean, with the headline and slot. And then she was on to me saying, look, it is still up, it's up, and blah, blah, blah. But I literally found out through Instagram, you know what I mean, as usual. So, yeah, I found out through Instagram, and I was like, nice. I wasn't overly overwhelmed or hyped up from it. I just felt nice. This is what I want. And in an arrogant way, I wanted the pressure of the situation. And I remember Dan Hardy and PFL were commenting on his thoughts on the fight, and Nathan's going to be in a high pressure situation. He has to win this fight. All the pressure's on him, and blah blah blah. And I just said, give me all the pressure. And I think they took me on me word and said, fuck it, we will give him all the pressure. So they gave me the opportunity to be in the main event, and because of that reason, now I'm gonna I feel like I owed him a favour, and I'm gonna definitely perform on the night and really show that, making me the main event. And like I said, hopefully the crowd and the atmosphere and will be all electric, and I can get such a response that it makes it feel worthwhile for them giving me that opportunity as well. And I'm really hoping I can capitalise on the situation in a special way, and sign off the night with an unbelievable performance and have the fans and everyone in amazement of what I've done. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing. And in my head, I have it all planned out. I see it going so well. I have like the walkout, everything. This is my third time fighting the 3Arena. I know the changing room to the walkouts to everything, like the back of my bollocks now. So it's just about like performing on the night, controlling what I can control, and ultimately, doing the job and getting the win.
Absolutely. As media members, we like to kind of nitpick about these things. So, when we're looking at the card as a whole, when I saw that you're the main event and I saw the match, I was like, one, this is brilliant for you, delighted for you. Yeah. I was a little bit like, I thought that they might have given you a bigger name or someone that maybe the fans knew. Yeah. Does that come into your mind at all or no?
I don't really think too much about it. Like, I had a chat with Dan after my last one, and he was like, who do you want to fight in Dublin or whatever? And I just said, look, Dan, I don't know. I don't really know anyone really. I don't really like look into other fighters. I very rarely follow up on the current affairs of MMA, and essentially, and it probably lets me down in some way because I could probably call for different opportunities or whatever. I don't know, but I kind of just stick to myself, and I don't really look into too much other people. So I just said to him, look, I'd like to fight someone who's obviously similar like skill level, similar record, like where we're about nipping at each other. Who's looking to get the upper hand to get into the next stage of their career, whatever it was. And I didn't have a clue who they were going to offer me, you know what I mean? So it just ended up being this fella. And like that, I literally just found out that I was fighting him when you was put up the post. I was like, what the fuck? Like, because they know I'll just fight anyone regardless. So like, I think they just said, right, we'll give him this lad. And I was like, yeah, I'm down to fight whoever. And I seen us fighting him. So like that, I can only beat who's in front of me. And I'm not seeing people online were like, oh, you should have fought this lad. Like, it's out of my control, really. I can just fight who I'm given and get a win and see what happens next, you know what I mean?
It's a really cool story, your last, you're on an 8-fight win streak right now, but it really feels like it was the fight against Roger Lopez in Clan Wars. That was the kind of the catalyst that spurred on this kind of new resurgent Nate Kelly. Yeah. You were coming off, what, was it 2 or 3 year layoff, I think, at the time, going into that fight?
I'd say it was just pushing 3 years.
So what was your thought process as you were walking out, say, on that night? Do you remember how you were feeling, like as a person and as a fighter at that point in your career?
Yeah, to be honest, I felt indestructible that night. I remember so well because I was mad eager. I was gonna initially, when I joined SBG, try to get a fight after a few months, like, which is just a bit stupid, you know what I mean? Because I needed to gel into the team and develop, because I would have only been doing jiu-jitsu, so I needed to build the striking, jits and wrestling, everything, you know what I mean? So I ended up training for a full year, like, of hard graft, and I was just brimming full of confidence because I knew the training partners I have are at such a level that would, it would show in the cage when I stepped in that I was sparring at a high level, and it would transform into my actual fight. But yeah, like, I thought now I was fighting Roger, he's gonna be a bigger lad, and I don't know, I thought I would have been a good old wrestling kind of up against the fence, blah, blah, blah. Clipped him. I think he caught a lot more weight than I did. Anyway, by the looks of it, he missed the weight deadline, Roger Lopez. And because he took ages to weigh in, and I was like, right, I'm going to clip this fella. And I just knew it in my head, this fella's going to have a weak chin, or his brain is going to be a little bit more dehydrated than he'll want. So I thought if there was ever an opportunity to knock someone out, that'd be the fight. And I just clipped him early, put him out, and yeah, that was the one that when I knocked him out, I was like, yes, I can use these as well, because I was such a heavy grappler beforehand that leading into that year of work, I put a lot of work into me striking, and then that was the first fight where I said, you know what, I can use my hands, you know what I mean? And then I grew into the next fight with Shem, and same as believed in my hands. And after that, then I just felt like I was just really starting to feel myself be the most complete mixed martial artist I've ever felt. And then from there, I don't know, the confidence just started to grow bit by bit by bit. And yeah, just here I am now, you know what I mean? My career is just kind of flourishing at this point now. But when I joined SBG and I was, had the guidance of my coaches and the high skill level of all the lads here, it just gave me a different level of reassurance stepping into the cage, and it's something that all I had throughout all my amateur career and into my early pros I never had, because I never had proper MMA sparring partners. Even when I went over to the World Championships, I didn't really think I was going to do that well, because I went up to Team Rhino and done the odds a few sessions up there, but you know, you do 2 or 3 sessions, you're not going to really find now, like you need to be weeks at it, training with high level lads, and so I was always kind of second guessing myself. But since I joined here, and with the level of the lads, obviously, and I was like holding me own against them and all that jazz, I was like, right now I am a high level fighter, and I just need to believe in myself. You know what I mean?
You mentioned the level of reassurance there. Is that what it is? Is it are you more confident fighter now?
Yeah, definitely. Like I always had like that kind of imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? I just never felt like I should have been where I was, and I used to always like feel like why am I in this position? Like how am I in the position? Like I almost felt like I was cheating my way through my career in a sense, but I was really just putting in the work and getting results. I was a hard worker, and that was why I was getting the wins, but I always felt because I didn't have the high level sparring partners that I was always uncertain, you know what I mean? And I never really knew, because I was sparring people who are like just doing jiu-jitsu and like a bit of a hobby, like, and I was coming up and beating up all the lads with jobs and so, like, who weren't professional athletes. And when I came here and delved into the atmosphere and the professionalism of the sport in a little bit more detail, I really started to flourish, and that's when, you know, add on the wins, add on and momentum all together, you know, and as well as just like, you know, sorting out my personal life and, you know, really sorting out my mind and building a bit more of mental stability, added with training partners, coaches. My circle was just solid, my mind was solid, and then like everything else just started to work out in the way I wanted to all my life. And I have the confidence now to say that no matter who I step in and face, I feel like I could do a number on anyone, you know what I mean? Like,
So back then you were winning fights, but did you still feel unsure of yourself, even though you're going out and defeating, you know, different men in a cage?
yeah, like I don't know why. I almost felt like if I got a quick win, I was lucky. You know what I mean? I always used to feel if I got a quick win, I was lucky. And how did I, like, how did, he was just what must have been shite on the day or whatever it was. And, you know, I always just feel like I was just lucky and they were unlucky, and not I was skillful and more skillful than them. It was just a mindset thing. It was just the way I approached life. Me outlook on life was different then to what it is now. And now, because I'm putting the work in as a full-time mixed martial artist, I'm really understanding that, you know, the success comes from the work that you do weeks in advance. So I'm really just relying on the hard work I'm doing beforehand. And, you know, obviously I have a really good team, really good coaches around me. So my hard work plus the guidance from them is like the recipe for success in my mind now, you know what I mean?
You've been incredibly open and vulnerable and in a very impressive way about your mental health over the last number of years, even, you know, consistently over the last few years. But it really seems like your mental health journey is almost intertwined with your martial arts journey and the success you've had recently in MMA. You know, like it sounds like almost like you're beating yourself up and telling yourself that you're not good enough, even though you're demonstrating and you're getting the results that you are. Is that kind of the dialogue that was going on in your head?
Yeah, like I was, and I still am to this day, very self-critical. And I like, not that I don't have an issue with it, because I feel like the way I'm critical of myself is because I'm so hard on myself. I always expect better from myself, which is the reason why I'll come back to the gym the next day, which is the reason why I'll stay 20 minutes. I'll come half an hour early. It's the reason why I'll come half an hour early and leave an hour later. You know what I mean? It's all that discipline, that kind of, you know, negative talk to build the positive, you know what I mean? And I always kind of had that approach. But when I was already low on confidence and I used to talk to myself this way, instead of me using it for good, I talked to myself in a negative way, and then I'd end up making bad decisions then from it. And then I always used to think that, like, even though I was, at the time when I was making less bad decisions, you'd say, or whatever, and I was talking negative to myself, it would be hard for me to overwrite that in my mind. So I'd be nervous then going into fights and blah, blah, blah. I'd still win, but I'd be like, right, I need to kind of change my approach here and, you know, try to be a bit more positive. But it just comes from obviously educating yourself, and how you talk to yourself is like you need to work from the outside or from the inside out, you know what I mean? And the way I was internally talking to myself was reflecting then, and even in my day-to-day life, I'd walk around slumped over, like you know, no confidence. And, you know, as I started to learn that the more, like, positiveness you bring into your own life by speaking to yourself, being grateful, and all this stuff, you know, I really started to like grow into a better man, and then that just transpired then into me performances now. And since I joined here, I really feel like I'm growing into a man more every year, and I'm learning the ways of life a little bit more. You know what I mean?
You gave an absolutely brilliant interview with the lads on Talking Bollocks podcast, which is a great podcast I'd recommend to anyone. But you were very vulnerable, and you talked. One thing I noted was you said that when you were growing up, you were just terrified. You were walking around afraid all the time. That must have been very, very unpleasant. And like, how long did that go on for? Like, do you still feel that way at times? Because it's something that's such a contrast, where you're a guy who gets in a cage and fights other human beings, and then on the inside you're kind of walking around with fear. Like, how do you balance that out in your head?
Now I'm grand, you know what I mean, because I have a good structure, good routine. I'm a highly skilled martial artist, so I'm fairly confident now in myself. So I don't really respond negatively to environments as much as I would have used to. But when I was a kid, you know, I was around a lot of like I lived with, like, as you might have heard in the podcast, I lived with my granny, my granddad, my ma, and my uncle. And you know, my uncle used to come in sloppy from the gargle, and he'd be, you know, causing bother in the gaff. And then like my ma broke up with my dad, and he had problems with drink and stuff like that. And whenever I was around him, there would always be some sort of altercation, you know, at home, if it was, you know, roaring and shouting, or like people getting physical with each other, you know what I mean? And I was just around it all the time, and I felt like I was just always had me senses heightened to be as safe as I could possibly be. You know what I mean? I was always on red alert, and it was something that I always carried, like was always with me through my childhood. And it was like someone on the road could say boo to me, I'd run up to the gaff crying. You know what I mean? Because I was just so afraid of what was out there in the real world. And yeah, I never had like self-belief as a kid. I knew I was different from the rest of the people, because, you know, you're comparing yourself to everyone in your class, and their mas and dads are together, and they're living with their man, and they have brothers and sisters, and I'm just kind of sitting like living on my own in my own mad world. And you start comparing yourself, then you start to feel like you're lesser of a person, and you go to your friend's house, and their house is way nicer, and your house is a bit messy, and you know what I mean? Like, it's calm and quiet in someone's house, and it's mad and wild in your house, and it's I just knew I was living a different life to most of the other people my age. And then even my family, that's what I said in the podcast, like my family would have thought I would have had a bit of an unfortunate upbringing, considering the circumstances. If you compare like the rest of my families, they all kind of had their, now obviously over the years families could come, like things fall apart, but at that time, like, I would have been like the more unfortunate one, you'd say, with my upbringing. But I think there was something always in me, and like, even though I was afraid, I think I was watching all the Disney. I used to be mad at watching Disney films as a kid. Maybe the Disney were selling me this American dream of, you know, becoming
the white picket fence, and everyone's happy, and everyone loves each other.
Yeah, like I always felt like I could do something with myself, though. You know what I mean? I always felt like I could be a rock star, a superstar, something. You know what I mean? I always had that like almost illusion. You know what I mean? That belief in myself that I can make something of myself in life, and like even like it was the thing that almost kept me going in some ways. You know what I mean? When I was playing football, I was going to be a professional footballer, even though I was never going to be a professional footballer. But I knew that if I keep training and take it so serious, I used to do a lot of visualization. I almost had an overactive imagination as a kid, because although I did a lot of good visualization for things I wanted, I always used to visualize a lot of bad shit that happened in my life, and I'd replay it over in my head, and things would kind of come in and haunt me and make me make certain decisions, or make me a shell of myself. But when I joined that MMA, then I just knew that this was the one that was gonna like, this is a fresh start. Everyone does this sport from scratch, you know what I mean? And this is gonna be the one that I can excel in. And over the years, just kept turning up, kept putting in the work, and slowly became less of a shell of myself. And 13 years later, I'm not that shell of myself anymore, and I'm more of a grown man than I've ever been now at this point. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's gotta feel pretty, like, what you're talking about. You know, you want to be something, you want to be a professional footballer, a rock star, whatever, and now like you're here, like you're the main event in the biggest stadium, or the biggest venue in Dublin.
Yeah.
For an MMA event, you know, your chosen sport, your passion, your job, that must feel pretty good. Or are you able to kind of almost like look at it that way yet until it's done?
No, I'm definitely looking at it in the right way. You know what I mean? I think I was actually driving towards the 3Arena the last time with PFL. Excuse me. And you know, I was driving past Aldi on the East Wall Road. That's where I used to work, and I was driving by, just looking at it, and I was like, "Thank fuck, I left that job." You know what I mean? Like, because it's the whole thing. If you never know where you're gonna be, unless you take the gamble and take the risks. And you know, I kind of had like it was like a glimpse of me past come back and hit me in the face. It was like I felt like when I drove by Aldi on the way to the 3Arena to do some media with PFL, it like from I remembered my first ever session right up to now. It was like I just flashback of blew by me, and I remembered it all, like my life flashed before my eyes, and I was like, you know what, Nate, we've come a long way. You know what I mean? And it's just a testament to hard work, being disciplined. You know, like obviously cutting people off at the right times, and you know, making sacrifices. And I feel like there was a lot of period of time where when I wasn't fighting, that there was no sacrifices to be made from me at all, and ultimately that led to me downfall. And yeah, but when I was going to training that day, it was like a calmness came over me, and I was like, right, I'm meant to be here. This is destiny. This is fate. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't meant to happen. So now I'm just believing that my life is just falling into place exactly how I planned it. Even though there was a lot of bumps and ups and downs, I'm still grateful that I went through them, because they shaped me into the man I am today. And I feel like I'm coming full circle, but I'm still not full circle, because I'm only starting my career essentially, because I can only build from here now. So I feel like I've come full circle to here now. So this main event slot and this opportunity is me restarting my career, and this is the one now that propels me in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Some of the bumps and the ups and downs that you went through, you talked about openly again on the Talking Bollocks podcast, was about your drug use.
Yeah.
And I completely understand if you don't want to go into it, or if you don't want to talk about it, but how bad did it get? Like, what was it, an everyday thing? Like, to what extent did it go?
Yeah, it was every day. But not, but like different substances, you'd say. You know what I mean? Like smoking weed and obviously doing cocaine and stuff like that. But the cocaine had more of a hold, I'd say, because it's fucking, that shit is poison. And you know, I'd be doing it on the sly, locking myself in my room, like just, it was just mental. You know what I mean? Now looking back, I was just thinking, what the fuck? Like, especially during COVID, you know what I mean? I felt like I was like running towards it to escape me reality, when in reality it was just making me reality 10 times fucking worse. You know what I mean? And I went heavy on it then, and then I don't know how I got the power in me to fucking just stop. You know what I mean? But I did. You know what I mean? And like it really weighed into me, and I swear to God, if I'm gonna really try push this now. Going like when I have time, and I want to really get stuck into this in the community. It's just pushing. I think literally cocaine is our generation's heroin. Remember when heroin came in back in the late 80s, 90s, like, and it just fucking was rampant, destroyed communities. I think cocaine's doing that now from a first-hand experience, seeing all these young fellas, you know, going and doing, like, you can be 16, 17 year old, just send one text message, you have a bag of coke dropped to you, like, by a randomer, easily. It's too accessible, and for me, it was like that. I could just get one whenever I wanted. You know what I mean? No one cares if you're addicted to it. They want you to be addicted to it because you're lying in their pocket. You know what I mean? And I really had to reevaluate my relationship with myself, and really stop associating myself with the partying environment. And because obviously it started off with going out with my mates and stuff like that, and then like and don't get me wrong, like, I'd be lying if I say I didn't have fun at the start. You know what I mean? Because that's why everyone does it. It's a bit of crack with your mates and blah blah blah. But you know, when things start, when shit hits the fan and you're left with you and you alone, and you're doing that shit on your own, there's no one else around, with no buzz, no one to try to have a laugh at you, and you're doing it on your own. For what reason? To escape? Like, what are you trying to escape? You're trying to run from something, which you're digging yourself in a deeper hole. And yeah, it was a nightmare of a few years I went through, battling it. I'd be on and off, and then I go through a phase where I'd be flat on it, and then I'd be off for a good while, and then flat on it again. And thankfully now I'm safe to say I'm clean off that shit, and You know, I'm really, and even I having like a young nephew and his mates, and they all look up to me, and I sometimes I get the fear looking at them, and like, I just don't want yous to even have to think about fucking doing that shit to feel cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I really want to do something in the future with like a campaign or something like that with in Finglas to really promote, like, you know, mental health, fucking going to gym, using sport or whatever it is as a means to stay away from drugs. Like, I know Finglas used to do this thing called Finglas Against Drugs, and it used to be a big campaign to now spread awareness and stuff like that. So I'd like to do something similar like that in the future. Obviously, it's a bit of a while yet for me. I need to have some more important things to take care of, but coming like that whole full circle thing after being addicted to all that shit and now coming back, I'd like to do something like that for me community and really spread the awareness and try just to wake people up to say, cop the fuck on, this is not the way to be living, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you say that you were addicted to it?
100%. Like if you can't control the urge to text someone for it, then you're addicted. You know what I mean? If I can't control myself from buying it and giving me handling money over it, then I'm addicted, you know what I mean? So I definitely say I was, yeah.
And is it he says you're good. Is it a struggle now still? Like, is it, or no?
Not one bit of a struggle at all. Not one bit of a struggle. I've learned a lot about myself when I was on it. I've learned a lot about myself while I was off it. I've compared them up. I've looked at both of them, and it's just there's no question of me ever going near that shit ever again.
I'm delighted to hear that, and thank you for sharing that, because like it's not easy to talk about that stuff, no. And it's a powerful message to say, look, it can happen to anyone really. Yeah. When you're looking at your career like this, look, the country's in a spot right now. We're not going to go into it, but like it's very divisive. People are kind of at each other's throats. Things aren't good right now in a number of ways. Do you see yourself as someone who can be a positive light? You've always talked about wanting to represent Finglas well. Do you want to be that kind of positive light for the youth of Ireland?
100%. You know what I mean? I think when you have a platform, you should be using it for the right reasons. You know, I'm not going to say I'm going to change everyone's life because I'm not a bleeding miracle worker, but, you know, if there's an area in Finglas and, you know, I'm pushing a certain message and 100 or 200 people jump on board with my ideas or understand what their message I'm trying to get across and it impacts their lives, then I'm doing a really, really good job. You know what I mean? Even if it's just fucking one person, you know what I mean? But I'm mad just to push the right things to do, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm fucking liberal, far left or far whatever it is, you know what I mean? But if you're just a nice person, you treat people with respect, you know, you care about your family, and you just be a good person, you'll have a much better chance in life than you think, you know what I mean? And once you don't, you know, delve into doing, like, then again, drinking drugs, they go hand in hand. And like, I'm not here to preach the gospel and like tell people how to live their lives, but you just need to be honest with yourself and understand that shit in over the long run just does not end up well. And I'm really trying to, you know, use this platform now. Obviously, I'm growing more into being honest as I go. It wasn't so easy for me to talk about all this shit at the start because I was afraid of me perception, me image. Like, will they look at me a certain way, or will like me promotion I'm fighting for, will they have a certain outlook, will they not give me opportunities, blah blah blah. I used to have all these things going through my head, and the more I thought of it, I was like, you know what, fuck it, the more honest I am, the more people will be able to relate to me, the more people will be able to maybe take what I'm saying on board and relate it to their own lives and make changes in their own lives. So as long as I have a platform, I'll be trying to do the right thing for, you know, the community that's behind me, and try to lead the light in a positive way and show them that no matter where you come from, what situation you're in, you can do great things with your life with the right attitude and work ethic, you know what I mean?
It's a brilliant message. Let's actually talk some fighting.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've a lot of heavy subjects to it. Yeah. Are you looking forward? Like, you must be. You're walking out to Aslan, I hear.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to making that walk.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, man. I like I said, I keep visualizing me walking out to Aslan Crazy World, and you know, everyone's singing along, and I'll be singing along with them walking out. You know what I mean? I really feel like it's gonna be such a wholesome moment. You know what I mean? A Finglas legend. That is Christy Dignam, you know what I mean? All these have some amount of Finglas going, and now they're all gonna get loud, and hopefully everyone else who's in the crowd will join in and sing along. And I'm really looking forward to it, man. I'm visualizing it in my head like so clear as day, and you know, everything that goes with it is just, it's giving me goosebumps every time I think about it. I'm getting kind of chills and shudders, and you know what I mean? I'm really seeing this working out so perfectly for me. So like I said, all I can do is perform on the night and really capitalize on the situation, but yeah, I'm fucking buzzing, man.
You talked before about being having kind of extra nerves and almost being surprised by the nerves in Madison Square Garden. How are you going to prepare yourself so that doesn't happen again? You're in a main event spot, fighting in front of a hometown crowd. What's going to go differently in your prep to this one?
I think the preparation, training wise, has been the exact same. You know what I mean? The hard work has been put in and all that jazz. I think for the Madison Square Garden fight, because it was Madison Square Garden and I was traveling to New York, and you know, you think of all the greats who fought there and like that. It's like, fuck, I'm getting the chance to fight in this opportunity in this arena. I think I overbuilt it up in my head, you know what I mean? Whereas this going to be my third time fighting in the 3Arena. I know the changing rooms, I know the walkout, I know everything like exactly how it is. I know the way the ring is going to be. I'm so familiar with it. And there's just something about, you know, having your family and stuff ringside, like, and stuff like that, and seeing them in person, that just, I don't know, it switches me on in a different way. And I feel like when I see all them, it's just going to be calm, focused, doing the job. Like, any time I've had family beside me in my fights, I always felt like I got a different level of performance out when my family and friends are with me. So this is going to be the same tenfold with the crowd that I'm going to bring. But yeah, I'm barely even thinking about it, being honest. I think I was, the last few weeks leading up to MSG, I was overthinking it and just creating scenarios up in my head just to get myself anxious, to almost to create a bit of anxiety, to feel like, yeah, I'm getting into a fight, where this is just routine for me now, you know what I mean? And this, like I said, it's my third time fighting in the 3Arena. I'm so familiar with it. I have it visualised how I'm going to walk it. Everything is just, I have it all planned out in my head. So like, all I can do is follow what I have in my head and let the performance take care of itself on the night. But I'm going to make sure to be a bit more chill and relaxed in the cage, and not just be like tense and ramped up, because I felt like I was a little bit like that in the last one, which was of my own accord, because I was backstage beating him, you know, just trying to bring that bleeding animal out of me. Now, in fairness, I think that's what won me that fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? So doing that won me that fight. But I think now going into this one, with the skill set that I've shown I have in that last fight, you add a bit of calmness, bit of fight IQ to it to this time, and you're going to see a whole new and improved Nathan Kelly by a far. Like,
what do you expect from your opponent? Have you looked him up? What do you think he's going to bring to the fight?
I haven't seen much of him, in fairness. It's hard to get footage of him. So I know he's going to be a bit tall and lanky, bit awkward maybe. I think he looks to be more of a striker than anything. So I'd say he's going to try keep it at range, you know, long jabs, keep me away with kicks. Probably trying to set up a few knees if he has me backing up, which he's not going to back me up anyway. I'm going to get in his face and punch him around. But yeah, no, like, all I can expect for him to be is his frame, because I haven't seen that much of him. I expect him to be his frame and to use his frame to his advantage, if that makes sense.
Shadow almost.
Yeah, like, he's going to be there in front of me, tapping away, keeping me on the end of his long limbs. I don't even know how much taller he is. I'm just presuming he is tall, because he looks a bit lanky. So I was just sparring tall lads in the gym and just, you know, covering the distance well, and, you know, fighting a little bit inside, and, you know, getting comfortable for sparring taller guys. But all I can expect is him to come out and try to prove himself. You know what I mean? He's after getting a big opportunity here to silence the home crowd lad in a fight that I'm supposed to win on paper. So it's on him to upset the fans in PFL. So I have to respect that and know that he's going to be bringing it. At least he's going to be bringing it. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to go in, bring it more than he's going to bring it, and yeah, get a nice win on the night, 100%.
Ideal scenario, how does it play out on Friday night, next Friday?
Obviously, it'd be nice to get a nice KO in front of everyone, you know what I mean? It's like a relief when you get a KO, you've finished on, bam, hopefully you don't get hurt, and you have to get in the highlight kind of real finish. But look,
early or late?
Earlier. If it was early, it'd be even better. I'd be able to go out and see my family then, and it wouldn't be too late in the evening. But look, I want to get in and get out. Obviously, time in the cage is vital and essential, but I'd love to just get in and get out, take no damage, and be fresh for coming back to training then the week after, you know what I mean? That's my approach. It's the 24/7, 365 approach. So if I can get in and get out in as early fashion as possible, all the best for me, you know what I mean? And whatever way it is though, like, I'm just going in with the I'm going in with the approach to win 3 rounds. And you set things up and things happen, you get finishes, you don't. But I'm going in to fight 3 rounds, as I do every single fight. and just, hopefully I can capitalize on a nice situation or a nice opportunity when it presents itself, and get a finish or whatever it is. But all I can do is control my performance, which is going to be a nice, smart, relaxed, calm Nathan Kelly, and just really show that I'm levels above this fella. You know what I mean?
2 more questions. I've kept you way longer than I anticipated.
Sweet.
One, what does this fight do for you? We've kind of seen it's almost like a pre-season for Nathan Kelly.
Yeah.
Where does this fight bring you to? And then also, I'll ask them both at once. This whole PFL Bellator acquisition, does that impact you? You've been the guy who's been, kind of one of the standalone PFL guys in Europe.
Yeah.
So, what does the future have in store from Nathan Kelly after this fight?
I don't really know, to be honest. I haven't really been told too much about it. They threw some ideas at me after Madison Square Garden. They were saying it could be possible to have me fight on European cards next year, maybe for Jordan, the European tournament. They might just get me on a few of the European cards as like a showcase bout there as well. But, like I said, high pressure situation, main event, all the pressure's on me. So if they've given me the highest pressure situation they can give me at the minute, and I capitalise on it, they might put me into that season for $1 million.
What do you want?
Either way, to be active. That's ultimately what I want to be doing, is to be active. But like, obviously, I would love to get into that $1 million tournament, because who wouldn't want to be fighting for you know what I mean? It's what you're going to be doing, challenging for a world title and challenging for $1 million. Like, who wouldn't want that opportunity? But ultimately, you know what I mean? There's people, like, I have to have this conversation with them, and if they have other ideas from me, you know what I mean, because they're me employers, I'll have to respect their opinion. But I'm still going to voice my opinion, obviously, to a certain extent. But I just want to be active. If they promise me activity, then I'll promise to give 110% every time. And if it's fight in Europe next year, then get a bit more experience behind me before I go into the season, I'm all for it. Or if it's go straight into the season after this, I'm all for it. So I will do whatever. So obviously it'd be nice to get into the season, the American season, and really kind of build from there and start as I mean to go on. But obviously I wouldn't turn up more experience in Europe, build my fan base a little bit more in Europe and all that jazz, and go into season in 2025 with a bigger following, bit more of a base around Ireland and Europe, and then start to challenge for titles then. So, but like I said, man, I'm a real go with the flow type fella. I'm kind of easy to work with. I take on voice on board. I listen to opinions, and I always listen to different sides of perspective and stuff like that. So I'll just see what happens, play it by ear, and ultimately get this fight out of the way and see what doors open. You know what I mean?
Well, look, the next step is next Friday night in Dublin 3Arena. The main event, Nathan Kelly taking on Dimitry Solimeis. You can tune in on DAZN, and tickets are still available at ticketmaster.ie. I really appreciate the time, Nathan. Just keep being you.
Yeah.
Everything you've said here today is incredibly powerful, so fair play to you. And it's not easy to do that, so the utmost respect in the world. Looking forward to seeing how you get on Friday night and how your career develops. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, cheers, Andy.
Gents.
I just kind of say as well is that, like, I've been using this platform that I have a lot lately to promote, my flaws and really show that other people can make these mistakes and grow from it as well. And like, it's the whole thing of, like, you have to have these uncomfortable conversations to somewhat get out of your comfort zone and grow from it. So if anyone is listening who has had troubles or whatever like that, and you're a bit maybe a bit afraid to even talk to your family about things like this and stuff like that, you'll only get a foot in the right direction by having the conversations, you know what I mean, and really putting yourself out there and being vulnerable. So if anyone's out there, reach out to me. I'll happily, send on some advice if anyone's looking for advice or whatever like that. I'm just a chat away, a message away, and I'll always be around for any of me mates, anyone out there who's going through hard times, whatever it is. I'll always be there, and so I'm always there. Give me a shout, and I'll do the best I can. And lastly, I just want to thank everyone for the support coming into this, because I've been getting such amazing support, especially after the Talking Bodies podcast there. I've had a lot of good feedback, and a lot of people who have jumped on the Nathan Kelly bandwagon, and they're looking forward to getting to see me, how I'm doing and stuff like that. So I'd like to thank everyone for the support this far. My sponsors, the Dream Edit. I have the Zone Bet working with me now for this one as well. So like, I'm really looking forward to building something from this going forward, and Sorry, 2 more sponsors as well. I just want to thank Get Laid Carpets and Mean Clean Car Detailing. Yeah, they've been helping me out for this one as well. So I just wanted to get them in and give them a shout out. But like I said, thanks to everyone who's been on board, and anyone out there with struggles, problems, whatever, drop a DM to me and I'll definitely reach out and listen to you 100%.
You're a gent, Nathan. The original Nate Kelly. Appreciate the time.